I Spy.
Hello. Cameras like the ones keeping watch over this town are having an ever more dramatic impact on all our lives. Tonight on I Spy, more ways in which cameras have proved their worth. Catching armed robbers raiding a jewellery store. Making crowd trouble at soccer a thing of the past. Tackling cheats, this man is claiming compensation apparently for a back injury. And where policemen and women can't go, send in Robo-Dog. Plus tonight, once again, we'll be asking for your help with our I Spy appeal. But first, we travel 6,000 miles to Hong Kong, now in the last few months of British rule, before being handed back to China. Hong Kong has one of the most prosperous economies in the world. Its success built on free enterprise. But amongst the jumble of some 240 islands which make up the colony, that freedom is also a golden opportunity for smugglers. In the early hours of the morning, the Royal Hong Kong Police are out with night vision cameras gathering evidence.
What you're seeing is the smugglers throwing video recorders into the speedboat, which will then take them into China. There's vast amounts of profits to be made. Well, in Hong Kong, they may cost between £200 to £300. In China, they would sell for £500 to £600.
Within minutes, the smugglers are off with their cargo. The black dots are flares fired by the police to illuminate the area. But this time, the speedboats escape to China. Another night, and a luxury car is being driven to a remote part of the coast. It's been stolen to order for a customer in China. Again, it should fetch double the price it would in Hong Kong. As they spot police moving in, the smugglers leave the car dangling in mid-air.
The weak point is when they're loading the car in. That's the best time to actually hit the smugglers. At this point, the flares are going off, the smugglers are scarpering fast.
But the criminals make so much money, they can afford customized boats, which at speeds of up to 70 miles an hour can outrun the police.
These operations are very dangerous. These craft go at high speed, and the drivers of them don't care who gets in the way. So they're going to pile off at speed, and if there's police boats, they'll just go straight across them. The drivers of our boats will try and bounce along the side of them to try and put the drivers off.
In a dramatic end to this chase, a police boat collides with the smugglers. Those caught and convicted of smuggling can be jailed for up to 7 years and fined £150,000.
There's a chase going on, and one of our vessels has just been opened fire on. Can you locate this chase, over?
2,000 feet above Hong Kong waters, a surveillance aircraft is trying to find smugglers who've just fired on a pursuing police boat.
No, that's an island. There's two. There they are. There they are.
The plane's observer guides the police towards the criminals.
Yes, okay. All right, coming right.
We've got the friendly chasing now. He needs to come right about 10 degrees. Now, that'll cut them off.
This particular footage, if you imagine, it is dark. It's just pitch black. The actual aerial surveillance is directing the pursuing craft in on the smugglers, because the actual pursuing police units are actually driving blind.
And they're alongside one another now. He's not going to pull over, is he?
The police boat, the larger of the two here, is about to intercept the smugglers.
And they've just met now. And met again.
Suddenly, the smugglers' boat bursts into flames.
Roger, the target is on fire.
The men jumped into the water and weren't injured. They were rescued and arrested.
The use of the video was very important to us. It allows us to present it as evidence, and also allows us to actually show the extent of the problem to senior government officers and police officers.
Last year, the government gave out £17 million in grants for CCTV. 800 towns and cities applied, only 250 were successful. But people of one town who lost out wanted CCTV so much that they paid for it themselves, as we discover in this week's Street Watch. They're called speed domes, the very latest in camera technology, and they cost the Northamptonshire town of Corby £250,000 a year to run.
The system that we've got in Corby is the exact same system that was used by the American Olympic Games.
They are the fastest panning cameras in the world, which means that there's nowhere anyone can go without a camera tracking them.
On a hot summer night, a couple are arguing outside a Chinese takeaway. The man tries to break the window, first with a bottle, then with his fist. The cameras follow as the couple run away, and the takeaway owner gives chase with a pole. The man was arrested just out of camera range. Early on a Sunday morning, camera operators spot a man rifling through papers outside a newsagent's.
We had no idea what at all he was doing with these newspapers.
The man picks up a bundle and walks off. The camera operator alerts the police, and when they arrive, directs them towards him. A police officer gives a thumbs up to the operator. And the motive behind the theft? The man was after scratch cards inside the papers. Outside Martine's nightclub, a man is trying to break the window with a jacket wrapped round his fist. He fails.
He started to walk away from the nightclub when he decided, I'll have one last go, and he took a flying kung fu kick. This time his foot went straight through the window.
Oddly, a few minutes later, the man returns and pays to go into the club. But the police soon arrive and haul him out. Thanks to CCTV, police in Corby can respond to crimes often while they're still happening. Back at Martine's in the early hours of the morning, there's a brawl. A youth is punched in the face and runs off, chased by a gang.
At the initial stages, that particular incident probably appeared a minor disturbance, but because of the recognition by the operators that it had got the potential to become more serious, they followed on camera the events as they unfolded, and it then ended up a most vicious and serious assault.
Cameras see the victim lying unconscious on the ground, then track his attackers, guiding the police. 2 19-year-olds were convicted of causing actual bodily harm and sentenced to youth custody.
I've no doubt that that offence wouldn't have been detected without their assistance.
The success of CCTV in Corby has left the town with only one problem.
Everybody wants a camera in their street now. There have been an increased number of arrests in the town. People are screaming out for them, and I feel myself it's a great success.
Every week, 500,000 people attend league soccer matches. Against that, crowd trouble, once a massive problem, is now comparatively rare. There were just over 3,000 arrests at matches last year, virtually half the number when video surveillance was first introduced in grounds. Cameras are catching the troublemakers and proving an effective deterrent. 3rd Division Hull City are at home today to Wigan Athletic. A section of Hull fans have recently been demonstrating against the club's management, and at the previous match, several of them staged a pitch protest. It's the smaller clubs like Hull, which can't afford all-seater stands, that closed-circuit cameras have become invaluable.
The camera system cost us £25,000. We have got 7 cameras, all recording everything that goes on during a game, and we feel that there are no areas at all that cannot be covered from this control room around the stadium.
It's just after 1 p.m, and Inspector Brian Calum is briefing the police team.
So I say today, you've got to be on your toes. If there are any problems or they get beat, then we can see we're going to have the usual chanting against the management, and some may do a protest and try and get onto the pitch. If they get onto the pitch, then I don't want you running around after them, Quite simply, the CCTV is there to film them, and once they're being filmed, we'll pick them up later.
I'm just keeping an eye on the crowd to see if there's any of our problem element that we know of who are going to be in attendance today have already got into the ground.
But with the match soon to start, there's been no sign of trouble. Unlike 6 months ago, when the same ground saw its worst ever violence. Hull were playing Bradford. A large contingent of Bradford fans were expected and had been put in part of the ground normally reserved for home supporters. It didn't go down well with some of the Hull crowd.
We monitored large groups of supporters hell-bent on trouble on the day. Certainly around the turnstiles and the main car park, there was a lot of toing and froing of supporters and groups of people trying to agitate, if you like, other groups.
10 minutes before kick-off, Hull fans invaded the pitch and charged towards the Bradford supporters.
Because of our positioning of the cameras, what we were then able to do was straight away pass on information to police officers on the ground and also stewards in and around the ground.
It wasn't long before fighting broke out between the rival sets of fans. Directed from the CCTV control room, police officers moved to restore order.
It's something that I've never ever witnessed inside a football ground at Hull before. Once we'd gone as far as we could with the videotape evidence, we decided to take prints from those videotapes, which duly passed on to the local media. They ran a series of photographs to try and identify those people concerned, and as a result of that, the phones never stopped ringing.
Eventually, 61 people were convicted of public order offences.
A bit more.
Back at today's match, every one of the 3,500 fans is being recorded on CCTV.
Once John's got it all filmed, so at the end of the day, if there's a big punch-up outside there, we know exactly where people were and where they were stood.
But there's been no trouble during the match, which ends in a 1-1 draw.
We find that the CCTV is probably the biggest deterrent we've got, because they now know that if they step out of line, if there is a problem, it will be caught on camera. It's as simple as that.
We'll take a break now, but stay with us, because coming up, the woman who tries to shoot her way out of a robbery. The people who say they're injured but seem to have made amazing recoveries. And can police camera dog Saxon find an injured man in a dangerous building? Back. As we've seen on I Spy, shops account for many of the million-plus security cameras now in use. Mainly they catch on tape routine crimes like shoplifting or credit card fraud, but occasionally the incidents they record are far more dramatic and serious, like the one you're just about to see. After 2 robberies at this jewelry store in California, enough was enough for the owner. He installed video cameras and a security gate inside the door. On an afternoon just before Christmas, he opens the gate to a young couple. They ask to see the most expensive diamond rings.
From their dressing, the way they look like they cannot afford to pay this amount.
18-year-old Dusty McComb and her accomplice, Ron Capitosto, are posing as girl and boyfriend to commit armed robbery. As Ron attacked the shop owner, it was Dusty who reached into her handbag for the weapon.
I knew I had to take out the gun, and then I was looking at the owner and his wife, and then I seen her pushing the button, the alarm system or something. I seen the couple escape through the back, and Ron was just taking the jewelry. I didn't care. I just wanted to get out.
Hearing the alarm, next-door shop owner Ray Rios set off to help, taking his gun with him.
As I came through the glass door behind me, I got to this gate, the security gate, and I stopped. And then I pointed my gun. I was getting ready to shoot him if he ever reached for a gun, and he didn't. She reached for a gun.
The bullet only just missed Ray. He fired back, but hit a handbag. The robbery has gone badly wrong. Ron pushes the security gate release button, shouting at Dusty to go and open it.
I was like, no way, you go. I'm not going near that gun. No, you go. I already got shot at. You go.
Come on, man. Don't shoot me. I'm not going to hurt you, man.
When he said that, I kind of hesitated, and he grabbed me by the throat.
I'm not going to hurt you, man. Just don't shoot me. Oh!
Ray had shot Ron Capitosto in the chest, but he still managed to get up and run away, leaving Dusty trapped with no way out.
All I remember was trying to get out, trying to hold the buzzer down with anything and everything just to open the gate. It was a panic of survival, wanting me to get out so I don't die. It was that kind of panic.
Your boyfriend shot. I'm reloaded, hon. I'll blow your head off.
Now Ray moves in.
No problems.
He was asking me where was my gun. I told him in the corner I wasn't going to shoot him. I wasn't going to kill him or nothing. It just seemed like a movie. And when the police came and everything, I was just totally out of it.
Dusty McComb, who fired the gun, was sentenced to 12 years in jail. Because of his injuries, Ron Capitosto turned himself in and got 3 years. Now, can you help solve a crime? Caught on camera in tonight's I Spy appeal. This man's just broken into the home of a 91-year-old woman in Sussex. The camera was installed by police after the house had been burgled twice in less than a fortnight. After snooping around, the man lets in 2 accomplices through the back door. All 3 then search the rooms, including the bedroom where the woman is asleep. Police don't know if the men took anything. For much of the time, they're in shadow, but take a good look as they pass under the light. If you recognize any of the men, phone Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. Calls are free, you don't have to give your name, and you may get a reward. Each year, 9 million people are injured in accidents. Of course, the vast majority are genuine, but with large sums of compensation at stake, some people attempted to exaggerate their claims or even make them up altogether. And it's everyone else who ends up paying. Fraud puts an estimated 4% on every insurance premium. But in their fight against the cheats, the insurance companies have a powerful ally, the video camera. This is Peter Hill, a man who said his knee was so badly injured after tripping on a pavement, he was paid more than £11,000 compensation by Liverpool City Council. Within 6 months, council investigators were checking local papers, following rumours that he was playing football for a Sunday League team.
We couldn't understand how, if the medical evidence showed such a severe injury, how he was playing football so soon after the compensation had been awarded.
But the council needed proof, so they sent a cameraman to secretly film Peter Hill playing in a match. It wasn't long before he was captured in action.
We went straight back to court. The judge was so impressed by the quality of the evidence that he saw that he immediately ordered the gentleman to go across the road, withdraw all his money from the building society and repay the authority. We had won.
At the trial, the judge said,
"There used to be a saying that drink is the ruin of the working classes. In modern times, it might be the video is the ruin of the cheating classes."
This man in America claimed to be suffering from a back injury and was supposed to have given up sports like gymnastics. And this man from Wigan, making a bungee jump, also claimed to be suffering from a bad back. Former policeman Alf Murphy from Cheshire travels the country on video investigations for insurance companies in cases where they suspect claims may not be genuine.
It's thanks to the video evidence that doctors and insurers can gather a true picture of a person's disability.
All these people claim their injuries had forced them to give up work, but the surveillance footage suggests otherwise.
There was one particular lady who went as far as to claim that she was virtually housebound. She even claimed that on a good day she could go no further than her garden gate. We filmed her one day. She appeared to be perfectly normal, walked unaided. Half an hour later, however, she went to the doctors for an examination. She used 2 elbow crutches and walked extremely slowly, both into and out of the doctor's surgery. She was driven home after the examination, but 1 hour later, she went into town shopping, unaided, having had what can only be described as a miraculous recovery.
Richard Jakes Turner, who runs another surveillance company in Hull, has installed in what seemed like a normal van his own periscope camera for secret filming.
There is a mirror at the bottom, and the camera here looks into this mirror, and this is how it sees out, just in the same way a submarine periscope works. And of course the beauty of it is too that we have a 360-degree field of vision, which is not afforded with normal surveillance equipment.
This man's injuries have left him in a wheelchair, but Richard's periscope can gather evidence in places that other cameras can't reach. Just hours later, he caught the same man sweeping up in his garage. Had this claim been genuine, the man could have been paid £100,000. He accepted just $2,000. And this woman said she was suffering from a severe shoulder injury, but that hasn't stopped her using her talents for face painting. Nice brush strokes, but who's the lucky man? It's investigator Alf Murphy. An armed siege on a housing estate. Police are called to deal with a potentially life-threatening situation. Officers are at risk, and the public may be in danger too. But now, instead of risking human lives by sending officers into such situations, cameras can be sent in with a little canine help. This is Saxon. He's been serving in the Cumbrian Constabulary for the last 3 years. He can track villains, disarm robbers, protect his handler. And now Saxon can also operate a high-tech video camera.
This is the camera which he wears on his head. Simply slips over his muzzle.
The camera is plugged into a transmitter on Saxon's back, and the pictures are beamed back to this handheld television set.
And that's Saxon, ready to go.
The miniature camera is known as the wireless-operated Link Video Exploration System, but Saxon's friends just call him Robo-Dog.
When the dogs were first introduced to this head camera, the dogs did shake their heads quite a lot, and we had to struggle to get quite a steady picture. They have become quite settled now to use in the head camera, and we do get a very good quality picture from it.
It's 7 a.m. A man has gone missing, and police want to search a building which they believe could be dangerous. Keeping a safe distance back, PC Mark Yielder gives Saxon's handler a running commentary on the search.
Right, he's cleared the stairs in, he's gone through a double door, a corridor, into a large room with a lot of shelves. He's searching the shelves, searching cupboards. He's coming back to you in.
Saxon, get on, mate.
He's gone back in, he's turning right, large cupboard, he's checked that room. We've got a small storeroom which he's gone through into. Coming now into a large room. Yeah, he's found the person lying on the floor.
This time it's only a training exercise, but the technology is already so successful that dogs are now being trained by more and more police forces, and the idea's even been exported to New York. That's almost it from I Spy, but we'll leave you tonight with video taken by a hidden camera, set up by a couple to find out who it was kept breaking down a fence on the edge of their field. They caught the man responsible. But where in a field could they hide even a mini camera? Unfortunately, there was only one place, in a pile of horse dung. Which just goes to prove that, as we've shown, cameras really are everywhere. Until next time, goodbye.